All right, guys. So we sort of got cut off there because my recording was a pain. But yeah, we were just talking about the character models and the animations, and we moved on to the stretch goals. So we're just going to cover them again here. So yeah, what do you guys think about the stretch goals? And what they would like to achieve, or what they're going to do if we reach a certain amount of money over the goal?
I think that most of these they're gonna do anyways, even if they don't reach the stretch goal.
Yeah,
But it's just gonna be like later. Like a lot of these things are things they do. I think really want to do, like bringing the map to life, or having a walkable main menu map, or having female characters with customization.
yeah,
Those are things they do want to do. I think. I just think they either might not come. They might not be as advanced, or they will be. They'll be coming way later into the game's life, basically.
yeah. I
Um,
think maybe
I
it's a way
think,
to just sort of speed it up and say, right, we'll do this
yeah, I
instantly.
think that most of the money that they get additionally just goes towards um,
Speeding up the process.
yeah, basically goes towards maybe making these stretch goals like a larger priority
Yeah.
Yeah.
than they are.
All right. So yeah, I mean, we have. I mean, the highest one is female characters and customization. Um,
Yeah.
do you really think that there's going to be a lot of interest in that?
Well, basically, I think why they put it as last is because they have to put a lot of effort in making the model and also for all the cosmetics which they have. It will just take a
Yeah.
lot of time.
Well, I
It
mean,
So
would
I
be. It
think,
would probably be the most, except for maybe the main menu map. If they intend on making a large map, like they said, I
yeah,
think that would probably be take the most effort. But I think that they would rather have a main menu map than have female characters. I think they feel like that's more important to the game.
I think
yeah,
it's
and
more important.
also some people were also like, I really want female characters in the game. That's
Yeah, there
just,
was a lot of
yeah, a lot of people really wanted it
they
in the
were
game.
really
And
polarized about it on the forums because you get into issues with like balance because women they tend to be thinner
yeah,
than the men,
and
especially considering how the men here they have kind of large figures.
Yeah,
They're not very tall. They're kind of stocky. They're basically like Torbjorn. Um, so so I do understand that, but I don't think they would go too far with that. But I do understand where people are coming from with like, oh yeah, that's gonna be bad for the balance. Maybe that might influence the game.
yeah,
And
It's
there's
my
also, of
concern,
course, the
really.
fact that's right. Even though this is like supposed to be some kind of civil war, um, this was right after World War II, and even though it's a cartoon setting, there would probably be way more men on the battlefield, and with how games are, a lot of people are going to choose the female character just because they want to,
yeah.
whether they're actually female or not. But so I guess I could see the point from some people that would kind of become unbalanced, but I don't think that would be a big problem for me personally. But I could see why people would maybe find that a little annoying. um, but yeah.
yeah. I wouldn't mind the female characters if the hitbox thing will be fixed, and as long as it won't be like all of the MMORPGs, like a woman with big boobs walking in bikinis all the time. That
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
really
that
annoying.
Yeah.
wouldn't be obnoxiously pandering or
Yeah,
anything. I think they designing a good female character in a cartoon shooter, especially since the men are kind of large, and still making them look good, that would probably be pretty hard. So yeah, I understand why it's down so low. And I personally do think some of the other tiers are, I'd rather see those than female characters. Um,
Yeah.
like the walkable main menu map and the map settings. I don't think the main menu map is like really necessary, but it would be so freaking cool to just
it,
have
it,
that. Like,
it would be really cool, but I also think it will be really repetitive after a lot of time, so that you can
well,
select it or deselect it.
they said they do intend on making it pretty large, so you know,
Yeah,
It's almost like they have plans on turning this into like a full scale RPG, almost like an
Mm.
MMORPG,
Yeah.
kind of like Destiny, but not shit. Obviously, I don't really like Destiny, by the way, just so you know. But right, because that is kind of it's like a hub world, and then you go into like levels. You have like kind of semi-open world levels, which are the PvE, but the PvP is like really small maps.
Yeah.
So they might be going for something with that, but
Yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they're gonna do something that we don't expect at all. But
It really depends how cool it is on how they execute it. Because I don't
yeah,
want to walk for a minute to go into my game. I just want to click play now and let's go.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, what actually I want to know what kind of maps would you like those two maps to be if they reach the stretch goal? Like
What,
what
the
what two?
€75,000 one?
Yeah, because that's like two more maps.
Yeah.
Personally, I would really like to see a large city, kind of like Berlin.
Mm.
I really want to see a large city map, not like Victory Village, where it's basically just a town with a lot of small houses.
Yes.
Um, and I also kind of really want a snowy map, like in the not necessarily just like all white, just snow only, but like in the mountains, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
Kind of
Cool.
Sweden.
And have sets, that fit with that theme as well.
Yeah, that would be very good to release like a new map, but also with the map release, you'd have stuff relevant to the map, so outfits, weapon skins that would go with it
Yeah.
and stuff. Um,
Um,
Maybe even like emotes, like someone shivering or something, because it would make sense for a really
yeah.
cold map or whatever. Um, yeah, that'd be interesting.
I mean, and as well, a snow map would be perfect if they intended on releasing the beta during Christmas or something.
Yeah,
Um, But other ideas, just a lot. You can have a tropical map. You can have a borderline jungle map. You can have like a desert, and like you have various types of deserts as well. You can have regular like pine forests, small villages, farmland, maybe like an industrial zone. There's so many things they can
Yeah,
do
you can
because
think of
right.
so many things.
So we'll see. I'll be fine as long as the map's fun to play and looks good, basically.
yeah,
Yeah, I would love to see a closed corner map since the map they have
Yeah.
released right now. Don't get me wrong, I really think it's beautiful, but I'm not a fan of open maps.
yeah. And
Yeah,
there's
I
no
think
vehicles yet, so
open maps can be really good, but it depends on the player count because this game is, I think,
8v8.
8v8
Yeah,
like Battlefield Heroes. Seaside Skirmish fucking sucked. Let's be real here. It
Yeah,
was way too
was way
large
too big,
for.
yeah.
I mean, the thing is like, oh, they thought, oh, we're a Battlefield game, so we do want to have large maps. But the thing is like that doesn't work when you're 8v8. I mean, contrast that with Caspian Border from Battlefield 3. That map is fucking amazing. It's like one of my favorite Battlefield maps. It's the perfect size. It's really large, but it perfectly, 64 players is the perfect size for that. And that's why I think, yeah, at least now, uh, as long as they have lower player counts, Renegade Line should be focusing on, smaller maps or like close range maps. Because
yes.
on maps like Seaside Skirmish, it took really long to find somebody, and generally you would just be getting like two tapped by a sniper who's like 200 meters away from you,
Yeah,
and
that was
you
really
can't do
annoying.
anything because these Battlefield Heroes, the devs, they really hated if you did anything long range without a long range pistol or sniper.
Yeah, I love the middle part of Seaside Skirmish though. That was a really good
That's
part
like
of the
but
map.
that's like
that's where all
because
Close
the
it's
corners.
action was, to
basically
be
a very
honest.
Yeah,
light, yeah,
yeah,
that's a
exactly.
very
All
light
the other
victory
parts of the
village,
map were
basically.
like you didn't really experience them much. It was pretty much just the fight between those two
Yeah,
areas.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
most of
Just
It
it's
actually
was
hold
irrelevant
like two
either
minutes.
that or you were getting spawn camped. It
Yeah,
was
Yeah.
barely
with
something,
tanks.
or yeah, well, yeah, maybe vehicle. It was a good map for vehicles, though. I'll
Oh
give it
yeah,
that.
definitely.
And people were playing a lot of tanks and planes. That was pretty fun, but otherwise, it was like a really bad Wicked Wake almost because Wicked Wake is pretty large, but it's a pretty good map because there's so many planes and it's so easy to go from point to point, and every point is like its own hot zone basically, and it was a really good map because it was more linear than the other maps. I think it was a really good map
Yeah.
where for having team pushes as opposed to Seaside Skirmish,
Yeah.
which was basically like a square, basically.
Yeah, you have two teams opposing each other here,
Yeah.
contesting a flag instead of, oh, we're going to take your flag. Oh, we're going to take your flag you just abandoned.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess basically just what we're saying is hopefully the maps aren't too big in Renegade Line, and
Hopefully they have good
nice,
flow.
yeah,
and they have nice, themes. I really want this game to be. It's something I've really been appreciating in media the last few years is when something is really stylish, right? So I really want this game to have really nice themes basically for every map and have every map like stand out from each other.
yeah, that's a thing with Battlefield
Unlike
Heroes
in
actually.
Battlefield Hero, well, in Battlefield Heroes, I found that to be quite lacking
No,
because
yeah,
a lot of
I
those
know.
were just kind of pine forest or like farmland. Like you're like basically it was all France. Like half the maps were just a French farm village.
Yeah, I mean, basically they reused so many of the same textures. You would see
And
the same
Aztecs, yeah.
houses
Yeah.
on maps many times. It's just the
Even
layout.
even on the more like populated maps like Perilous Port and Victory Village and Seaside Skirmish and Riverside
Oh,
Rush, they all
same.
had the same buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
but
a lot of the same
if you-
textures, really.
I really like that's something, especially when because like the Dr. Pepper sets, the desert ones, and
Yeah.
the snow sets as well. Like, why were there never actual like real snowy or real deserty or real city maps? Those were never in the game, and I really hope that there was a tropical map which was Wicked Wake, but I really do hope that Renegade Line will offer a lot of variety in their maps.
Yeah, that there will be a new map with a theme. Also, indeed, what MeanSpeed said, like with this outfit set, new weapon skins with it. It's just an overall theme which comes out like once every 3 or 6 months or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and just I'd like to see, with each new map, actually make it new. Don't reuse loads of the same textures for every map.
It does depend though on like what kind of map you're making.
Well, yeah.
'Cause if you're making another farmland map like a small village, it's fine to reuse like some assets or use similar stuff. But they definitely shouldn't overdo it because Battlefield Heroes definitely had a lot of it, and it really showed after a while, especially if you played the game a lot. Because there was only like a few unique things. Those were like the ship in Perilous Port and the shipwreck in Buccaneer Bay. I guess you had. That's it really, because even the windmill was used 2 times, I think, in Riverside Rush and in Seaside Skirmish.
It was also in Perilous Port as well, but you couldn't see it.
The castle in
Fortress Frenzy.
Oh yeah.
That's really the defining features in those maps. I hope every map has a defining feature like that as well, but it should be something unique, right, for every map, basically.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To distinguish the maps, so they don't all just blend together.
Yeah. And it actually feels like you're playing on something different, not like something that's... It's trying to be something different, but it's not. It's too similar to the other one, so... Yeah, just... I guess that's what we want to see.
And I think they should still be easy to understand. Obviously, I'm not a map designer, so I don't really know a lot about a good map design. But obviously, there should be, I really do think they should focus more on close quarters maps and make it more tight, basically, because I do think the combat will be the best in closer ranges. So I do think they should adopt some of their design philosophy from games like Team Fortress and Counter-Strike and Overwatch, rather than from games like Battlefield Heroes or just Battlefield in general, really.
All right.
Yeah, I agree.
So, do you want to move away from that stretch goal? Do you want to move to another one? Or do you just want to get something else going here?
I don't really have anything else to say about the other stretch goals myself, but I don't know if you guys have anything left to say about them.
I mean, there is one, which it sort of goes into another topic. The 110 euros one. It says another awesome game mode, which will be ready upon release, and it will be decided by the community's vote. So this is, again, another way... Another, example of Raw Vengeance getting the community involved in a lot of a lot of things with the game, and I think that's very good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I hope this is like one of those arcade modes and not, in the casual mode. Unless I think for having as many like Overwatch has, conquest payload and like not conquest, just you know basically take over the place, whatever.
Mm.
Payload and a combination of the two, and I think that Renegade Line could really do something similar, but it shouldn't. I don't think it would work if it had. That's the clear distinction I think it's trying to make, is that it's trying to be more like Battlefield in terms of game modes, but it's trying to be more like games like Overwatch in terms of abilities, basically, right? Because you have classes and they're based on these various talents. But at the same time, they seem to have a philosophy based on the Battlefield games in terms of the maps, because the first map we did see does seem to be pretty large, and the game modes seem to be more like conquest or domination, and they want vehicles. So I think what they're trying to go for is they're trying to kind of combine that, which could work really well, but it could also go really wrong if they don't think it through properly.
Yeah. All right, so do you want to talk about the talents now? Do you want to go on to those, or should we just get on to something else? All right, so this will be pretty crazy. On the Kickstarter page, they had a massive infographic, massive image, showing you all of the classes, all 4 of the classes. So yeah, the talents for each one. So the spotter, you've got medic. Now, there was a point in the video. I don't have the video playing back at the moment, but it was like a load of like medic symbols all at once. It kind of looked like combat medicine. I think they're gonna have medic is gonna be that, basically, like an
probably.
It's
heal.
either gonna be combat medicine or it's gonna be like Soldier 76's biotic healing, whatever ability. Or it's either gonna be stationary and keep healing, or it's just gonna heal a bunch of people around him for a certain
It'll be
time.
more like a burst heal. Deal.
Perhaps. Like more like a combination of Comet Medicine and Ana, basically.
Yeah.
But instead of aiming, it's just like the field of view. I mean AOE.
Yeah, AOE. Yeah. The other one, or the next one, revive. Basically, I don't know how it works. I mean, I'm gonna assume that you can just revive like one person at a time.
What I'm afraid of is that since the weapons seem to be like in Battlefield Heroes, that they tend to do low damage, this ability might be really freaking dangerous, because it's because a lot of good reason to not revive in Overwatch or Battlefield is because you risk dying before you have the chance to revive somebody. And I think that might not be the case here, because weapons tend to do low damage. So they can basically walk to somebody. Oh my god, that was loud. They can basically walk to somebody, revive them. If they're almost dead, they can heal themselves, by the way, the medic doesn't seem to be like in Battlefield, where you have to actively drop down and stand by. It just does it. So I think that could be really overpowered if they don't balance it properly. Because reviving is already really strong in the Battlefield games, but it was kind of balanced out by the way the mech kits worked.
Right.
Yeah, it's just how they execute it, how it works. We don't know yet.
Yeah. I mean, that will be the case for everything, but I think it's fine to speculate, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
The next one, we already know how this works. It's called a shockwave. It's essentially blasting strike. Yeah. I mean, even the GIF with the animation, it was in the video too. That is pretty much the royal blasting strike animation. I mean, let's be honest. Where he just sort of forces his hand like away, like the one hand.
I wonder though if you're gonna be able to combo blasting strikes. You were able to in Battlefield. Yeah.
That would be pretty interesting to know, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, especially since what Jebs mentioned in that GIF was that he jumped down from like a really small ledge and took 1 point of fall damage.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they might tweak that. But if you can stack those shockwaves That's when he flies up really high. There, and if you don't have a parachute, because we don't know if you have a parachute yet. Honestly.
There are
So,
parachutes,
Yeah,
yeah.
we do.
There are. Oh yeah,
But
there are actually.
it's
that's
like
right.
it's a case of actually remembering to use it, and in some situations
Yeah.
it might not always come out, or it might not work. I don't know.
Or maybe you only have like a certain amount per life or something.
Yeah, it might
you
be
know.
like ammo as well. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
pretty much blasting
But
strike.
either way, it's yeah.
All right, so the next one, I'm gonna say this is pretty much like another ability from Battlefield Heroes. Honestly, before I get to it, I'm kind of surprised how many of the talents are similar to what were in Battlefield Heroes. I don't know if you guys were
Right.
surprised by that as well, but
Especially for the spotter and the tank, because
Yeah.
those classes were pretty alright
They
for
are
teamwork.
essentially in every way they are the gunner and the soldier.
Yeah.
in
But
every
they
way.
really work well together, and you can form a really nice
I do
team.
think they're gonna be the most powerful class, at least in the start of the game. Because
Yeah.
the sniper moves as fast as the spotter, but he has a lot less health.
yeah,
And, commandos were always kind of like situational. He was always kind of better on the bigger maps, and people never really played with the knife except
No.
on low levels.
Yeah.
People would just wanted to dick around. Nobody seriously played the knife actively. I think later
No.
on in the game, because it just wasn't good.
yeah. All right. So this one is called Ignition. It's essentially
Yeah.
burning bullets.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably gonna be some DPS thing.
Yeah.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it'll be.
Yeah, I'm really afraid that it will be like that. I can't
would be
tell
cool, though.
anything else.
It would be cool though if there would be some way to combine abilities. So if you have two spotters, one activates ignition and the other activates icing bullets, and that could create some kind of extra damage effect or something
Yeah.
because it's like rapidly switching the temperatures. That it would be cool if they would implement stuff like that between abilities.
Yeah.
I actually
Because
think they will.
that would be really cool. I think.
Yeah. Then you can
like
think of
extra-
team positions.
Yeah.
But I mean, this goes back to what Barney was saying about the spotter maybe being too good if he's chosen offensively,
Yeah.
because Ignition is obviously an offensive ability. Icing Bullets is meant to be more of a supportive one because you just slow them down. But
Yeah.
Ignition
I
is you're
don't
doing
think-
more damage.
Yeah, ignition is probably gonna be DPS. Damage over time. Whereas
Yeah.
icing bullets is just gonna be a slowdown. So it's basically it's basically both forms of harassment. So I think the spotter is gonna be a very good offensive, but also a very good defensive class.
Yeah.
An
Because of
all-round
that.
class, yeah. It's,
All right. So we already touched on Icing Bullets. The next one, I imagine this instantly what it would be. It's called
Yeah.
Instinct. Basically,
Just
Sixth Sense.
Sense.
Sixth Sense. The only thing I thought they could maybe do with it differently is make it so that only the spotter himself can see the enemies. So it would encourage more communication and a more competitive thing. Like you have to actually
Yeah.
have the
That would be
guy,
interesting, yeah.
yeah,
The
use
thing
voice
is,
chat.
I don't know if I agree with him calling him the spotter because even though he does have instinct and it's probably like Sixth Sense,
Yeah,
he seems way more focused on being either a medic or an assault character. So
or just a support in
being a
general. Yeah.
spotter. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I
But
do
me-
think though if they could have gone full on support with him and have given him like resupply abilities and then replaced those with the tank, but I do understand why they didn't do it because the spotter you would have to give the spotter really weak weapons to make up for that. Because otherwise he would basically be a beacon basically
One-man
that just
army.
constantly gives everything.
Yeah. Well, MeanSpeed, I actually do not agree with you. I think Instinct should impact all the other teammates since it's a team game. You can't really tell the info to your teammates if you're not pre-made with them in a Skype call. So I think that they should know the information you get from Instinct, but you can see those things are pointing in one direction. So I think you can only see the things in front of you, and not if you turn around. Those things you can't see anymore.
Or maybe it's
Grammar,
like
though.
like for you it's like through the wall or you can see what player you're targeting like somewhere in the HUD. But for everybody else it's basically like an arrow just pointing in the direction. But I think they would have to balance it so it's like okay for everyone and it's not.
Yeah,
I think Sixth
not
Sense
wall
was
hack.
a little too much.
Yeah, Sixth Sense was just wall hack.
Yeah, the only
Because-
thing that it wouldn't detect would be a stealth commando. That was it.
Yeah.
Or they could make it like a certain range, because I think Sixth Sense had like a really, big.
The whole
they didn't
map.
have the entire map. Yeah.
If you
It should be more
increased it,
like
it would be ridiculous.
Hanzo's detection arrow, basically, where it's like it's a certain range.
Yeah,
So if you have to like, it makes positioning more important, so you know where. But it also, like, the thing with Hanzo's arrow is that it doesn't put you in much danger, because you can just shoot it and you can see people around you right up there. Whereas I think this, you have to risk going out to actually know where people are. I think that'd be good though.
If they limit the range, yeah, I think that would
Yeah.
be smart.
all right, so yeah, should I move on to the next one now?
Yeah.
Covered all, I mean, obviously we know that every single class gets the 7th talent as well, which is the healing for the medical herb, which is essentially a bandage. But yeah, we already know what that does. So all right, so
Right.
the first one for the tank, it's called assault armor. Anyone got any ideas for that?
It's probably some kind of like shield or damage reduction. I think it's gonna be like the heroic shield, but it's gonna
Right.
be perhaps just a damage reduction instead of like completely removing the damage. And it's
Right.
gonna be actual like armor that he gets, like that he wears, and then you have to kind of shoot it off
Yeah.
before you can perhaps, or maybe it's like you can only damage certain parts of the body but headshots don't count, so that's probably not going to be a thing. But I think it's going to be a little bit like Hero Shield.
Yeah, I think it's very obvious that it's damage reduction, since the bullet
Yeah.
goes from big to small and from colorful to dark. So
Yeah.
it just seems very obvious that it's damage reduction.
But
Okay.
I don't think it wouldn't be as powerful as Hero Shield outright, where it just basically blocks like so much damage.
Well,
But
yeah.
I think it might not have a time limit, perhaps, because it's like armor, so you just keep it on until it's shut off. But it's just not as powerful as Hero Shield is.
I don't actually think it will give you an extra shield. I just think your health will
Yeah,
slow
me
down
too.
instead of getting a shield.
I think it will just reduce the incoming damage,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
won't
exactly.
be. Basically, if you do the math, it would round out to like, oh, this is basically 33 health,
Yeah.
but instead it's just like it's not as strong as a hero shield would be, basically.
I mean, it
Yeah.
probably is like a damage reduction or a shield, because
Yeah.
in one of the Q&As they said the tank uses various shields, so he doesn't just have one; he has more than one.
Well, the blockade, I think we actually saw that one in the gameplay trailer.
Yeah,
on the
and so he holds out
Is that-
this giant wooden shield. Obviously, you
Yeah.
can't shoot while doing it. It's pretty much like Reinhardt, but it's obviously not as large, or I don't know
Yeah,
how much it can take, but that'll be
Yeah.
quite useful.
Yeah,
Maybe
Well,
you can set it down as well, right? So it's like you can make like a positional thing, do a positional thing with it.
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps, I don't know.
one thing that concerned me was how small it was. So you can only kind of block for yourself or the people who are vertically behind you.
Yeah,
And maybe if you will upgrade it, that the shield will get horizontally bigger.
that's what I was
I really
thinking. Yeah.
hope that, I really hope it does. But otherwise, I'm really worried that it doesn't actually do much instead of protecting you from dying.
Yeah, I do think though that if they plan on giving you an option to put it down, they might do something like where you can upgrade it to have like multiple shields at once, but they're a little bit weaker. Excuse me, a little bit weaker, stuff like that. I think they could do some really cool things with this ability.
Yeah.
But I don't think we know enough yet about it to really know what they're gonna do with it.
All right. The next one, we already know, adrenaline, basically. Put down a field, everyone who walks over it gets a speed boost. Meltdown, it's like IEG, but instead of health, you get ammo. So
Ammo.
every explosive that you absorb, essentially, gets converted into ammo. Speaking of ammo, the next one is called supply, so I'm imagining
It's
you pretty much just
probably
give
medic,
teammates ammo
but-
packs or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
pretty
it's
straightforward.
probably medic, but instead of health, it's ammo.
Yeah. I'm just really interested in the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
supplied.
Is it going to be like a bunch of kits around you, or is it just going to be an AoE effect, or is it going to be stationary? How long is it going to last? I would imagine it would last longer than medic because ammo isn't as essential. Because I do think you do get quite a bit of ammo.
Yeah, just one mag or something or two.
But
Yeah.
I mean, you when you spawn, you have a lot of spare ammo
yeah,
with
okay,
you,
yeah, okay.
right? But I think that does depend on the class. I could imagine the pistol, for example, the spotter not getting as much as the tank, obviously because he has an LMG. So
Yeah, I mean, so the sniper, he wouldn't get that much ammo on his rifle because it'd be very damaging. But
yeah,
maybe like a weaker submachine gun or whatever would get more. Yeah. So is everyone done with that? We want to move on to the next bit?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm allowed to confirm this. If I wasn't allowed to, then I'm screwed. Recoil bullets. Recoil bullets. At first, I thought you have less recoil when you're shooting, but
But you don't have recoil, right?
No, you don't. You don't.
So
well, but it's not really recoil as such. What it is I mean, it kind of it looks a bit like what I'm going to explain in the picture, but it's kind of like when you use it and you hit people.
wait. I wanna see if I can get it right. I think it's like some sort of reflect, maybe.
Yeah, the bullets bounce back.
Because
and
it's
do
like the
damage.
bullets recall or ricochet off of you
Yeah.
or like something about you. Is that true,
Well,
or am I
well,
completely on the wrong here?
I mean, maybe I could be wrong with this. I mean, I did read this from various developers anyway, but yeah, essentially, it's like a pushing effect when you shoot people when they get hit by it. They get knocked back a bit, like a knockback
Ah,
after they get hit. Now, I could be wrong with that, or if I am right, then I've spoiled it a bit. But it's definitely not what I thought it would be at first. But I don't think there's recoil at all, actually. Or if there is, it's
so
not
it's
noticeable.
basically like your gun starts knocking back people.
Yeah. Um,
That could be really powerful because it would
Yeah,
basically
and
be like
annoying as well.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you have the air blast from Pyro in Tank Fortress 2, which is really powerful, but it's close range and it doesn't do any damage. If this deals damage and you can do it from a lot of ranges, this could be really freaking overpowered.
Because that's the thing, then you're just denying accuracy
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
the ability of other players to hit you.
You
essentially.
can screw like the tank is gonna be a really insane defensive character probably.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything about him is built to last long.
Yeah. And he's obviously got
I
the most
mean,
health out of everyone as well.
yeah, and he has got the heaviest guns.
Yeah. Alright, so the sniper. Now, this is where we get into territory where it's... I mean, the icons have sort of helped with some of the speculation. These ones don't have icons yet, so they're obviously not... They're just sort of maybe ideas floating around. They haven't actually finalised all the, appearance and stuff. But, yeah, campfire for the sniper. Now, I did hear a bit about this, but I can't remember all the specifics. Just I heard that it might be too good at the moment. But
It was a meme in Battlefield Heroes.
yeah, it was what was it, like a tip of the day or something like that?
Yeah,
they
it was like,
didn't give the commando campfire abilities because they didn't think they needed the encouragement, something like that.
Yeah, they considered it though.
Yeah, I'm sure they
I think
did. Yeah,
what this would be something like maybe you it's like some kind of self-healing or self-resupplying that it's like, oh, you're out of ammo or you're low on health, so you do this animation or something and you gain like health back or ammo back maybe for
right.
yourself so you can stay in a place
I
longer.
think I should
And
agree with that.
but I have no idea what it's actually gonna be. I just it's possible, but I could be completely wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll be safer in the area of a campfire. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe some
Maybe some
defensive.
buffs.
Yeah, it might be like a small AoE effect.
Yeah.
But the thing with that is it could turn into a defensive ability like one that the tank would have.
Oh yeah.
It would not be used for camping, but maybe they don't want you to encourage that. I want to encourage be like some kind of ironic title in that it's called campfire, but instead it actually encourages snipers to like stay on the ground with their team on the point
Right.
somewhere
Maybe.
like in the
I'm
distance.
afraid that won't be the case.
No, it might, but
It might be, but I'm afraid it won't.
It would be cool though. Take notes, RV. Take notes.
Yeah, if they've got to this point in the video, I'm screwed probably. But who knows? Airstrike is the next one. I think that's pretty obvious, or is it?
Yeah, it's gonna be an airstrike. It's gonna be like the one in Dirty Bomb and the guy in Paladins. They have an airstrike, which is just like you call down a bunch of damage on like a place, which could be a really good offensive ability. But I think it would depend on your positioning a lot, like where from angles and stuff where you can place it.
I mean, you could deny certain areas.
Would it have?
It's kind of like you could say it's kind of like Diva's ultimate in a way, but it's like from the air. So it's like Pharah's ultimate, but it's also like Diva's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, if I should think out of the box, I think it will be something like that. What you're saying as well. But if you think out of the box, the sniper has I think an MGL. So maybe
He does,
the MGL is one of his weapons. He'll go into the air, uses airstrike, and gets more damage on a sniper. That's also one of the possibilities.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Probably it could be a possibility, but
Yeah.
The name doesn't
it's a
really.
little out there.
Yeah, that's actually like a cool idea. Like you can use the MGL to do kind of a rocket jump, and then when you're in the air, you can use the airstrike, and then instead of like you fire a sniper shot, and then becomes like a tracer, and then that area, a small area around that, receives an airstrike. They could do something like that, and people could use that really intelligently by going into the air, reaching a certain angle, and basically flying over enemies, shooting a tracer into the ground, and airstriking them.
Just take out the enemy spotter or thief, and bam.
I mean, you have to think about whether you take a certain amount of damage from certain explosives as well. I can't remember how that works at the moment, but if you don't take that much damage from from shooting like stuff near you, or just to do that scenario, then that would be good. Be pretty useful. The next one, throwing knife, which is essentially
really obvious.
Yeah,
it's basically like a grenade, but it's a one hit. It's probably going to do a lot of damage, but it's also going to be like a backup, basically, if you're out of ammo.
It might be hard to aim it from longer ranges.
So, I don't think it's going to be for longer ranges. I think it's going to be more something for short range. Like it's important. It's hard to hit, but it does a lot. It's kind of like the pirate pistol in a way.
Yeah,
I think we will see.
But it has an ability.
I think we will see a lot of throwing knife montages in the
probably, yeah.
Since they're really hard to hit in long distances, and then you'll just see the 200-meter throwing knife, perfect throwing knife montage.
Yeah.
No, that is a good point though about it being used close up, because the sniper has two long range weapons, so maybe it's like an escape tactic or just some form of self defense in more closer ranges.
And what Jeb said in his discussion video is that there might be a stun on it since it's defensive, so he can run away.
Yeah, and it might as well be. Maybe you can upgrade it to be like some kind of grenade, where it basically like a Semtex or something.
Right.
You never So if you miss, it still lands on the ground and can still damage or like stun enemies. They might actually even allow you to upgrade it into something like that.
Okay. All right, so if everyone's done with that one, next one, another obvious one by the name, steady aim. So, do we need to cover this, or?
It's just gonna be less recoil. And if there's like scope sway, there's gonna be either less sway or like no sway at all, depending on how you build it. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's about the swaying. I think it's just they confirmed that there's recoil for the sniper. I think it will be gone or just a lot increased.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very straightforward.
All right. So the next one is called Double. Now, my thoughts just from Double Team from Pokemon. That's literally what I thought.
It just creates a clone of you, like for a few seconds, like a decoy. That maybe they make it so like he follows your animations, but he doesn't actually move, like they have in Mass Effect and Warframe.
Right.
because you have a decoy and like they do their thing, but they don't actually move. So it's like if you're shooting somebody and then you know they're gonna turn around and you activate double quickly, they
Yeah.
have to make a choice like which one to shoot.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be cool.
And at the moment they shot the decoy, then Chameleon comes into play, I think. If you can hide...
Chameleon is probably gonna work like with throwing knife to be a kind of an escape ability.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I think it could work as a little bit like Sombra's invisibility, maybe, where you turn invisible for a short time. You cannot fire your weapons, but you go really fast. But it's I definitely think it's limited by a time limit though.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Unlike the cloak in Battlefield Heroes.
All right. So
His HP really is low though.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
yeah, it is. That'll definitely be something that they might have to look at tweaking, or just giving him more stuff to justify that low health. But yeah, the thief now, Ghost.
Yeah, basically knew everything already. They confirmed it on a stream with the polished.
Shadow Step is Tracer's blink. Ghost is probably invisibility. I
Stealth from
know.
Battlefield Heroes. It's confirmed stealth from Battlefield Heroes.
There was a
I didn't
thread
watch
somewhere. I can't
Dual
remember.
jump is just a double jump.
Yeah, I followed the stream, and Ice and Crisco, I think, kind of gave away all the abilities they had at that moment, but they seem the same. The names of the abilities are exactly the same.
Yes. Stealth Thief is probably like you just
Stealing
shoot
ammo.
Yeah. Glider is
Like a
just an
paraglider.
airliner, probably. Yeah.
So you can just glide.
It's probably gonna be working with dual jump, where you you
It's just
jump,
a double jump.
have some
Yeah.
momentum, and then you fly into the air and do. You're basically a plane.
And then surprise trap
Yeah.
is obviously like a troop trap. So
Yeah, we had poison.
It's really it's really what the commando was meant to be. I think what they wanted to do with the commando in Battlefield Heroes, but they didn't know how to balance their game, so they just stopped caring.
yeah,
Yeah.
essentially, yeah. All right, so that's every single class now. That's pretty good that we covered all that. I'm trying to see what else we've got here.
Are we still recording though?
Yeah, we're still
Okay.
going.
Maybe the class system. The ranked system, I mean.
The rank system, yeah, the competitive system. So we
Just
did
looks fine
sort
to
of
me.
touch on it. We
but
touched on whether we
not
think.
in the ranks by themselves. I wonder
Oh,
how
yeah.
it's gonna work though. If they're gonna have like an SR like in Overwatch, or they're just gonna have like a secret code. What algorithms they're gonna use.
Mm.
Yeah,
I like the way the ranks look, even if they look kind of generic, like look competitive game ranks.
Yeah.
they
I've
do look
never seen
nice.
wood, which is it's weird, but I don't dislike it. It's like haha wood, you're really bad. That's the meme joke, haha. But now it's like an actual thing, so it's just fine by me.
Yeah.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else about those then?
Yeah, well, how the ranked seasons will work in Renegade Line, that's a thing.
Yeah.
I hope it's gonna be like Overwatch, so it's like every 2 or
resets
3 months,
Every few months.
and then resets, and then they see what could be improved or what needs to be changed, and then they do that. They rework the system if they have to until they have a perfect system, basically, or not
Yeah.
perfect but near perfect. The
Just so
best
they can make changes,
do.
because I think with League of Legends, it's way too long for changes to be made.
How long is League season?
Legends is like
It's a
10
whole
months.
year, basically.
Yeah, 10 months, and they have 2 months downtime of pre-season.
Yeah.
But that's pretty long.
I mean, with Overwatch, it's like you have like 2 months, I think, and then you have like a week of just resting time, basically.
Yeah.
Downtime.
No one playing the game.
Everybody's just playing quick play because quick play is
Yeah.
the same as competitive now. Which thank God for that, by the way.
Yeah.
'Cause hero stacking is just really awful.
All right. So trying to find what else here. See what else they've mentioned. Customization. Yeah, I'm just glad that they're gonna sort of not stick with one theme. They're gonna try and find a middle ground. Just makes there's more variety. Then it's less boring that way. You know, if everyone looked the
Yeah.
same,
Keep it fresh.
or if there was only just one
But-
theme.
But it
Right.
could be a potential problem, like we mentioned earlier, with how you're gonna recognize the classes. But maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe they want you to like see it by the weapons or something. I don't know. But we'll see
Yeah.
what they do with it.
We could talk about the backstory. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Do you read it?
It's
Or?
quite short.
Yeah.
It's quite short.
Yeah, obviously. I don't think they've obviously written more than this, but
I
this is
think
all
it's-
they want us to know.
It's kind of random.
Yeah,
Random,
it's just
short,
like-
It's a little. I mean,
out of flame.
It's just kind of like,
It's not
oh
a
yeah, we need to
multiplayer
have
game.
we need to
have a
have
story.
some context to this war. So
Yeah.
here it is, because I thought the idea was like the Wickets were basically like the mafia, and
Yeah.
they were just being assholes to a group of people. This seems to be like a story with like it's like a political drama almost.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
it's like it goes into war. It seems a little
Weird.
well, that as well, but also
Misplaced.
like on a larger scale than I would expect, because I expected it to be basically like a fight between the oppressed and the oppressors, basically, and
Yeah.
not a full blown official political war.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's also quite out of the sudden. It's just a random event which happened and then it escalated.
It went really out of hand. Like, oh yeah, we don't like each other, so now we're gonna create a fucking army to retake this
But
city
it just
before
seems
you do
like
something radical.
yeah, it just seems like this is the introduction to the story, and that there's like a really big a really big paragraph underneath this.
Perhaps there will be more nuance to it. Perhaps they'll even include like a story mode. But
They might develop it. Yeah. I mean, maybe they just
yeah.
put that on there just as like
I think it's definitely not a parody, and I don't think it should be. It's
No.
really just there to offer some context now.
Oh, yeah.
For the,
I think
for
it's
what's
really
going
weak how they presented it over here.
on. Yeah, it's definitely not the strongest part of this.
it's fine.
It's whatever.
It's
you know?
because
Yeah.
it should be there.
Yeah, it's because they have to, basically, because
yeah.
people nowadays get mad when there's no single player, even if the single player is fucking terrible, like Battlefield 3. But everyone is like, get a single player. Shut up.
all right.
Anyway,
Yeah. So I'm just moving past that now. I'm looking more at the future plans. We did talk about a few of them. Extended trading system, the black market.
Sure, why not? Cool. I like it, but don't make shit really expensive. I don't want to Counter-Strike this and have it be milked and
Yeah.
skins cost $60 billion fucking dollars.
Yeah.
It's dumb and lame.
I think there should be fixed prices for every skin.
I don't
They
want
should
to,
regulate it somehow.
Yeah.
I think they should have it only be tradable through in-game money and not actual money.
Okay. And then they've got something here they want to do in the future. The Renegade Line app. Do you guys read into that, or I can explain it. If
It's basically like every other game app lately. Warframe has one of these. It's like, oh, you can do some of the services, but you can't actually play the game.
Yeah.
So if you need to get something, or like there's a time limit thing for just logging in, you can just do that. And
I'd love to have a chat client on it as well, and that
perhaps like it gives you access to the forums as well. It's like an app that has the forums. Maybe
everything except the game.
Pretty much. If there's sort of just going to be like a crafting system, maybe they have that, so you can do like basic crafting and stuff. Just like a tool to use.
Yeah. Okay, so has anybody got any other thoughts? I think we covered most of what was on the page. I mean, I could.
No, We've been talking for like 2 years now. I'm kind of tired, honestly. I still
Yeah.
haven't done my homework.
Oh, well, if that's not a reason to wind up the video, I don't know what is.
Yeah, fuck you guys. I just want to finish my homework.
Alright, so
Otherwise, I'm getting an email.
I guess if we are ending it here, my last question to you would be, well, I got two actually. The first one is, do you think we'll reach the goal?
Probably, but I wouldn't be too sure. Like I said earlier, when we were having after the interruption,
Yeah.
it's definitely possible, especially
Yeah.
if the game gets more attention. But I do think people are being a little too. They're really overestimating it. They're like almost entirely sure it will happen.
Yeah.
I think barely.
Don't count it out that it might.
Not
just
that I don't want it to,
really-
but I think barely it'll get it.
I mean, I wanted to reach the highest stretch goal. Honestly, that would be great. Of course, I think
Right,
everybody
obviously.
will want that, but that doesn't mean it's the chance that it doesn't happen is still there, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if both of those very large donations are fake.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we need to really be like over 63,000 at the near the end to actually feel safe,
And then you
because
have to assume that people don't make another really big donation among that.
yeah, I mean, obviously you got to hope those two people mainly don't back out as well. I'm not sure how Kickstarter works, but I think I read something on the forum. Someone said you can change
24 hours. 24 hours
before it
like,
finishes. You can change
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's a fair chance that the project will fail.
Even if they don't make it, I don't think they'll stop because they still have the secondary donation page. They'll probably receiving that money, and even then, they've been working on this for so long now.
Yeah, I don't think they will stop, but they will get discouraged very easily, and
Yeah.
the project
They
may
will
be
just-
dead.
They'll just have to take more time and find
Yeah.
another way to make money.
I mean, for all we know, they might just reboot the Kickstarter, but change the the goal.
If the Kickstarter fails, they might be going for something like Steam Greenlight or
Yeah,
something.
that's
I don't
also
know.
another good option. So that's another backup plan, really. I mean, it can either be a future goal when the game does get successful, or it can be a backup plan to the
Yeah.
Kickstarter not working and all this. So
I do think it should happen, though. I think it should definitely go for Steam. I think that they're good. Definitely a wasted bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
Some people said, it's gonna bring more hackers, but like,
The game will get popular without
Yeah,
Steam. We'll have as much hackers.
I would rather have
As many.
hackers and have actual people to play with than have nobody to play with but no hackers.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And you would get hackers anyway, even if it wasn't on
Yeah.
Steam. So honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, Battlefield Heroes had a ton of hackers and it never got on Steam. Checkmate, atheists.
yeah. So
Mean.
the very last thing actually, because Barney, you mentioned this. I don't know if we were recording when you mentioned it. What do we predict it'll end up at? Was that the question? Or do you
Yeah,
think we'll reach
something
any of the
like
stretch goals? Maybe that was it instead.
Maybe the first two, but I don't think. It really depends on how much attention this game gets from people with influence.
Yeah.
And what people think, of course. Because if people think, this game looks like shit, they're probably not going to donate. So
Well, that's the thing. Like somebody else said, I think it was on one of the YouTube comments, people who were looking at this not from a Battlefield Heroes perspective might think, oh, this game doesn't look that great. A lot of the
Yeah.
hype has come from people who have played Battlefield Heroes, really liked it. This is the most similar thing available. But then
Yeah.
what are people who didn't play that sort of game going to feel? So, I don't know.
people who like games like Paladins and Overwatch and just cartoon shooters,
Yeah.
I think it's gonna probably appeal to them.
I mean, it is a very sort of unique area. It's a third-person cartoon shooter. I mean, let's
Yeah,
add
but
to the fact
even
it's
then,
free
I
as
think-
well. So,
Well, yeah, I think that with it being free and cartoony, I think that's gonna attract some people.
Yeah.
There's also people who are like, I already have Overwatch, so why would I play this?
yeah,
Because that's already Paladins is way more similar to Overwatch, but people probably already think like, maybe they even do it with Battlefield. They think, like, I already have Battlefield and Overwatch, and I like both those games, so why would I donate to this game, right?
yeah.
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 All right then. So I guess that was it. Anybody else got any other closing thoughts?
I'm fucking gay.
Well, we already knew that
No
before we started.
context. Yeah, but no
Now it's out to
context
the
to that.
public.
You're gay while.
You're gay, wow. Bye, I guess.
I haven't finished it yet.
I don't know.
No, but yeah.
Well, you know what, Jack? You don't matter. We're stopping right now.
Okay.
Drops the mic.
All right. Well, I guess I'm just left talking on my own then, if everyone's already left. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you to everyone who turned up who has now left. Yeah, and I'll see you next time with another video.